it says, elephants afflicted by a forest fire become elephants afflicted by a forest fire become very happy when they get water from the Ganges. Similarly, O my Lord, from those from whose navel grows a lotus flower, since you have now appeared before us, we have become transcendently happy. By seeing your Lordship, whom we have desired to see for a very long time, we have achieved our ultimate goal in life. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The devotees of the Lord are always very eager to see the Supreme Lord face to face, but they do not demand that the Lord come before them. For a pure devotee considers such a demand to be contrary to devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches this lesson in his Sikshastika. Adarsanan marmahatam karotava. The devotee is always eager to see the Lord face to face. But if he is broken-hearted because he cannot see the Lord, even life after life, he will never command the Lord to appear. This is a sign of pure devotion. Therefore, in this verse, we find the word atichira ipsita artam, meaning that the devotee aspires for a long, long time to see the Lord. If the Lord, by his own pleasure, appears appears before the devotee feels extremely happy, as Dhruva Maharaja felt when he personally saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Dhruva Maharaj saw the Lord, he had no desire to ask the Lord for any benediction. Indeed, simply by seeing the Lord, Dhruva Maharaja felt so satisfied that he did not want to ask the Lord for any benediction. Swamin Kritarto Smriti Varam Na Yache. A pure devotee, whether able or unable to see the Lord, always engages in the Lord's devotional service, always hoping that sometime the Lord may be pleased to appear before him so that he can see the Lord face to face. Text number 14. My Lord, we, the various demigods, the directors of this universe, have come to you, your lotus feet. Please fulfill the purpose for which we have come. You are the witness of everything, from within and without. Nothing is unknown to you, and therefore it is unnecessary to inform you again of anything. Well, Krishna knows everything, so you don't have to remind him over and over again. He knows exactly what we want. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 13.3, Chetragyam Chapimam Vidi Savat Chetresu Bharata. The individual souls are proprietors of their individual bodies, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the proprietor of all bodies. Since he is the witness of everyone's body, nothing is unknown to him. He knows what we need. See, now that's very important. He knows what we need. Our duty, therefore, is to execute devotional service sincerely under the direction of the spiritual master. Krishna, by his grace, will supply whatever we need in executing our devotional service. In the Krishna consciousness movement, we simply have to execute the order of Krishna and Guru. Then all necessities will be supplied by Krishna, even if we do not ask for them. Wow, wonderful statements. Text number 15. I, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all the demigods, accompanied by the Prajapatis, like Daksha, are nothing but sparks illuminated by you, meaning Krishna, who are the original fire. Since we are particles of you, what can we understand about our welfare? Okay, that's a question. O Supreme Lord, please give us the means of deliverance that is suitable for the brahmanas and the demigods. Okay, so that's a good desire. Purport. In this verse, the word Dvija Deva Mantram is very important. The word mantra means that which delivers one from the material world. Only the Dvijas, the Brahmanas, and the Devas, the demigods, can be delivered from material existence by the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a mantra and is suitable for delivering the conditioned souls from mental speculation. The conditioned souls are engaged in a struggle for existence. Mana Shastan Indriyani Prakritistani Karsati. Deliverance from this struggle constitutes the highest benefit. But unless one gets a mantra from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, deliverance is impossible. Yeah, in other words, you have to be initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. The beginning mantra is the Gayatri mantra. Therefore, after purification, when one is qualified to become a Brahmana or Dvija, meaning twice born, he is offered the Gayatri mantra. Simply by chanting the Gayatri mantra, one can be delivered. This mantra, however, is suitable only for the Brahmanas and demigods. In Kali Yuga, we are all in a very difficult position in which we need a suitable mantra that can deliver us from the dangers of this age. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his incarnation as Lord Chaitanya, gives us the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. So this is gives us the Hare Krishna mantra. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. In his Sikshastika, Lord Chaitanya says, Param Vicharite Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the chanting of the Shri Krishna Sankirtan. The Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is directly chanted by the Lord Himself, who gives us this mantra for deliverance. We cannot invent any means to be delivered from the dangers of material existence. Here, even the demigods, such as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and the Prajapatis, such as Daksha, are said to be like illuminating sparks in the presence of the Supreme Lord, who is compared to a great fire. Sparks are beautiful as long as they are in the line, as long as they are in the fire. Similarly, we have to remain in the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always engage in devotional service. For then we shall always be brilliant and illuminating. As soon as we fall from the service of the Lord, our brilliance and illumination will immediately be extinguished, or at least stopped for some time. When we, living entities, who are like sparks of the original fire, the Supreme Lord, fall into the material condition, we must take the mantra from the Supreme Personality of Godhead as it is offered by Sri Chaitanya Maharaj. By chanting his Hare Krishna mantra, we shall be delivered from all the difficulties of this material world. Okay. Text 16. Sukadeva Goswami continued, when the Lord was thus offered prayers by the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, he understood the purpose for which they had approached him. Therefore, in a deep voice that resembled the rumbling of clouds, the Lord replied to the demigods, who all stood there attentively with folded hands. Text 17. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of the demigods, was capable of performing the activities of the demigods by himself, he wanted to enjoy pastimes in churning the ocean. Therefore, he spoke as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods, please hear me with great attention, for what I say will bring good fortune for all of you. Text 19. As long as you are not flourishing, you should make a truce with the demons and asuras, who are now being favored by time. One word in this verse has two meanings, kalena and sadhyena. Kalena means favored by time, and kavhyena means favored by Sukracharya. Sukracharya being the spiritual master of the Daitas, meaning the demons. The demons and Daitas were favored in both ways, and therefore the demigods were advised by the Supreme Lord to execute a truce for the time being until time favored them. See, then that's a very interesting statement. There are some times that nothing is going right for someone or some country. Therefore, you should definitely make a truce with your enemies and then wait for the time to change, where the enemy becomes weak, then you can, prosecute prosecute the enemy. But sometimes you have to uh, beg for a truce and wait for the time to change. Okay, so text 20. O demigods, fulfilling one's own interests is so important that one may even have to make a truce with one's enemies. There it is. For the sake of one's self interest, one has to act according to the logic of the snake and the mouse. Oh, okay, now we're going to learn about the logic of the snake and the mouse. A snake and a mouse were once caught in a basket. Now, since the mouse is food for the snake, this was a good opportunity for the snake. However, since both of them were caught in the basket, even if the snake ate the mouse, the snake would not be able to get out. Therefore, the snake thought it wise to make a truce with the mouse and ask the mouse to make a hole in the basket so that both of them could get out. The snake's intention was that after the mouse made the hole, the snake would eat the mouse and escape from the basket through the hole. That makes sense. This is called the logic of the snake and the mouse. Immediately endeavor to produce nectar, which a person who is about to die may drink to become immortal. That's text 21. Immediately endeavor to produce nectar, which a person who is about to die may drink to become immortal. Okay. Text 22 and 23. O demigods, cast into the ocean of milk all kinds of vegetables, grass, creepers, drugs, and drugs. Then, with my help, making Mandara mountain the churning rod and Vaisuki, the big snake, the rope for churning, churn the ocean of milk with diverted attention. Thus, the demons will be engaged in labor, but you, the demigods, will gain the actual results, the nectar produced from the ocean. So you see, there are very clever ways of calling a truce with your enemy and have them do something that is very beneficial, but you get all the benefit of their work. Purport: it appears that when different kinds of drugs, creepers, grass, and vegetables are put into this milk, and the milk is churned, as milk is churned for butter, the active principles of the vegetables and drugs mix with the milk, and the result is nectar. Text 24. My dear demigods, with the patience and peace, everything can be done, but if one is agitated by anger, the goal is not achieved. No, that is wisdom now. That's just real wisdom. Therefore, whatever the demons ask, agree to their proposal. You see, this is real strategy. Text 25. A poison known as kalakuta will be generated from the ocean of milk, but you should not fear it. And when various products are churned from the ocean, you should not be greedy for them or anxious to obtain them, nor should you be angry. It appears that by the churning process, many things would be generated from the ocean of milk, including poison, valuable gems, nectar, and many beautiful women. Wow. The demigods were advised, however, not to be greedy for the gem or the beautiful women, but to wait patiently for the nectar. The real purpose was to get the nectar. Text 26. Sukadeva Goswami continued, O King Parikshit, after advising the demigods in this way, the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead, the best of all living entities, disappeared from their presence. So Krishna gave very, very important uh, strategy how to deal with the demons. Let's see if they're going to do that. Then Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, after offering their respectful obeisances to the Lord, returned to their abodes. All the demigods then approached Maharaj Bali. Maharaja Bali. Maharaja Bali, a most celebrated king of the demons, knew very well when to make peace and when to fight. Now you see, that's real, let's say, strategy. Thus, although his commanders and captains were agitated and were about to kill the demons, kill the demigods, Maharaj Bali, seeing that the demigods were coming to him without a militant attitude, forbade his commanders to kill them. Interesting. Purport. Vedic etiquette enjoined Grihe Satram Api Praptam Vishvastam Akutobayam. When the enemies come to their opponent's place, they should be received in such a way that they will forget that there is animosity between the two parties. Bali Maharaj was well conversant with the arts of peacemaking and fighting. Thus, he received the demigods very well, although his commanders and captains were agitated. This kind of treatment was prevalent even during the fight between the Pandavas and the Kurus. And during the day, the Pandavas and Kurus would fight with the utmost strength. And when the day was over, they would go to each other's camps as friends and be received as such. During such friendly meetings, one enemy would offer anything the other enemy wanted. That was the system. Text 29. The demigods approached Bali Maharaj, the son of Virochana, and sat down near him. Bali Maharaja was protected by the commanders of the demons and was most opulent, having conquered all the universes. Text 30. After pleasing Ali Maharaj with mild words, Lord Indra, the king of the demigods, who was most intelligent, very politely submitted all the proposals he had learned from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. Okay, let's see what those proposals are. Text 31. The proposals submitted by King Indra, were immediately accepted by Bali Maharaj and his assistants, headed by Sambara and Arishtanemi, and by all the other residents of Tripura. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It appears from this verse that politics, diplomacy, the propensity to cheat, and everything that we find in this world in individual and social negotiations between two parties are also present in the upper planetary systems. The demigods went to Bali Maharaja with the proposal to manufacture nectar, and the Daityas, the demons, immediately accepted it, thinking that since the demigods were already weak, when the nectar was produced, the demons would take it from them and use it for their own purposes. The demigods, of course, had similar intentions. The only difference is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, was on the side of the demigods because the demigods were his devotees, whereas the demons did not care about Lord Vishnu. All over the universe, there are two parties: the Vishnu party, or God consciousness party, and the godless party. The godless party is never happy or victorious, but the God conscious party is always happy and victorious. The word, okay, O Maharaj Parikshit, chastiser of the enemies. The demigods and the demons thereafter made an armistice. In other words, they decided not to fight and to work together. So it made an armistice between them. Then, with great enterprise, they arranged to produce nectar, as proposed by Lord Indra. Purport. The word sambidam is significant in this verse. The demigods and demons both agreed to stop fighting, at least for the time being, and endeavored to produce nectar. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura notes in this connection. Sambid Yude Prati Janayam Achare Namni Tosane Sambhasane Kriya Kare Sankita Yana Yor Api. The word sambit is variously used to mean in fighting, in promising, or satisfying, in addressing by practical action, in indication, and knowledge. Okay, so this one word has so many meanings. Text 33. Thereafter, with great strength, the demons and demigods who were all very powerful and who had long, stout arms, uprooted Mandara mountain. Crying out loudly, they brought it toward the ocean of milk. You can just imagine, you see all these demons and demigods working together to lift this amazing uh, mountain and bring it to the ocean of milk. Text 34. Because of conveying the great mountain for a long distance, King Indra, Maharaja Bali, and the other demigods and demons became fatigued. Being unable to carry the mountain, they left it on the way. Wow. Let's see what's going to happen now. They pick up a big mountain and then they'll leave it somewhere. The mountain known as Mandara, which was extremely heavy, being made of gold. Whoa, that's amazing. Fell and smashed many demigods and demons. And then purport. By constitution, gold is heavier than stone. Since Mandara mountain was made of gold, wow, just imagine that, a whole mountain of gold, and was therefore heavier than stone, the demigods and demons could not properly carry it to the ocean of milk. Text 36. The demigods and demons were frustrated and disheartened, and their arms, thighs, and shoulders were broken. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who knows everything, appeared there on the back of his carrier Garuda. Okay, Garuda to the Savior, Garuda the Savior. Text 37. Observing that most of the demons and demigods had been crushed by the falling of the mountain, the Lord glanced over them and brought them back to life. Oh, that's mercy. Thus they became free from grief and then even had no bruises on their bodies. Only Krishna can do that. Text 38. The Lord very easily lifted the mountain with one hand and placed it on the back of Garuda. Then he too got on the back of Garuda and went to the ocean of milk, surrounded by the demigods and demons. Amazing. Purport. Here is proof of the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is above everyone. There are two classes of living entities, the demons and the demigods. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead is above them both. The demons believe in the chance theory of creation. I love the way Prabhupada writes. The demons believe in the chance theory of creation, whereas the demigods believe in creation by the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The omnipotence of the Supreme Lord is proved here. For simply with one hand, he lifted Mandara mountain. The demigods and the demons placed them on the back of Garuda. Let me see that. He lifted, okay. The omnipotence of the Supreme Lord is proved here. For simply with one hand he lifted Mandara mountain, and the demigods and the demons placed them on the back of Garuda and brought them to the ocean of milk. Now, the demigods, the devotee, the devotees, would immediately accept this incident, knowing that the Lord can lift anything, however heavy it might be. But although demons are also carried along with the demigods, demons, upon hearing of this incident, would say that it is mythological. But if God is all powerful, why would it be difficult for him to lift the mountain? Since he is floating innumerable planets with many hundreds and thousands of Mandara mountains. why can he why can't he lift one of them with his hand? This is not mythology, but the difference between the believers and the faithless is that the devotees accept the incidents mentioned in the Vedic literatures to be true, whereas the demons simply argue and label all these historical incidents mythology. Demons would prefer to explain that everything happening in the cosmos, in the cosmic manifestation takes place by chance. But demigods or devotees never consider anything to be chance. Rather, they know that everything is an arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the difference between the demigods and the demons. Text 39. Thereafter, Garuda, the chief of birds, unloaded Mandara mountain from his shoulder and brought it near the water. Then he was asked by the Lord to leave that place, and he left. See how powerful the Garuda is. And lift a whole mountain and take it anywhere. Purport: Garuda was asked by the Lord to leave that place because the snake Vaisuki, who was to be used as the rope for churning, could not go there in the presence of Garuda. Yeah, because snakes are always eaten by birds. So Garuda is a gigantic bird, and the what's his name? Vaisuki is a big, powerful snake, but obviously he would be eaten by Garuda. Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, is not a vegetarian. He eats big snakes. Wow. Vasuki, being a great snake, would be natural food for Garuda, the chief of birds. Lord Vishnu therefore asked Garuda to leave so that Vasuki could be brought to churn the ocean with Mandara mountain, which was to be used as the churning rod. These are the wonderful arrangements of the Supreme Personality of God. Nothing takes place by accident. I like that statement. Nothing takes place by accident. Carrying Mandara mountain on the back of a bird and putting it in its right position might be difficult for anyone, whether demigod or demon, but for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is possible, as shown by this pastime. The Lord had no difficulty lifting the mountain with one hand, and Garuda, his carrier, carried all the demons and the demigods together by the grace of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is known as Yogeshwara, the master of all mystic power, because of his omnipotence. If he likes, he can make anything lighter than cotton or heavier than the universe. Those who do not believe in the activities of the Lord cannot explain how things happen. Using words like accident, they take shelter of ideas that are unbelievable. Nothing is accidental. I like that. It's a fact. Nothing is accidental. Everything is done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the Lord Himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Whatever actions and reactions occur within the cosmic manifestation all take place under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, because the demons do not understand the potency of the Lord, when wonderful things are done, the demons think that they are accidental. Thus, in the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the 8th canto, 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Demigods and Demons Declare a Truce. Article. Okay. Okay, then now we're going to begin chapter 7. Lord Shiva saves the universe by drinking poison. The summary of the 7th chapter is as follows. As described in this chapter, the Supreme Personality of God, appearing in his incarnation as a tortoise, dove deep into the ocean to carry Mandara mountain on his back. At first, the churning of the ocean produced Kalakuta, poison. Everyone feared this poison, but Lord Shiva satisfied them by drinking it, with the understanding that when the nectar was generated from the churning, they would share it equally. The demigods and the demons brought Vasuki to be used as the rope. Vasuki is the gigantic snake, to be used as the rope for the churning rod. Yeah, you need a very powerful snake that can lift the mountain. By the expert arrangement of the Supreme Personality Godhead, the demons held the snake near the mouth, whereas the demigods held the tail of the great snake. Then, with great endeavor, they began pulling the snake in both directions. Because the churning rod, the Mandara mountain, was very heavy and was not held by any support in the water, it sank to the ocean, into the ocean. And in this way, the prowess of both the demons and the demigods was vanquished. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then appeared in the form of a tortoise and supported Mandara mountain on his back. Then the churning reassumed. with great force. As a result of the churning, a huge amount of poison was produced. The Prajapatis, seeing no one else to save them, approached Lord Shiva and offered him prayers full of truth. Lord Shiva is called Ashutosha because he is very pleased if one is a devotee. Therefore, he easily agreed to drink all the poison generated by the churning. The goddess Durga, Bhavani, and the wife of Lord Shiva, was not at all disturbed when Lord Shiva agreed to drink the poison, for she knew Lord Shiva's prowess. Indeed, she expressed her pleasure at this agreement. Then Lord Shiva gathered the devastating poison, which was everywhere. He took it in his hand and drank it. After he drank poison, his neck became bluish. A small quantity of the poison dropped from his hand to the ground, and it is because of this poison that there are poisonous snakes, scorpions, toxic plants, and other poisonous things in this world. Wow. Just imagine how powerful that poison is. Text number 1, Canto 8, Chapter 7, text number 1. Sukadeva Goswami said, O best of the Kurus, Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods and demons summoned by Suki, king of the serpents, requesting him to come and promising to give him a share of the nectar. They called Vasuki. No, they coiled. In other words, they had Vasuki
wrapped around.
What?
They wrapped around.
Yeah, wrapped around. Yeah. They coiled Vasuki around Mandara Mountain as a churning rope, and with great pleasure they endeavored to produce nectar by churning the ocean of milk. Text number 2. The personality Godhead Ajita grasped the front portion of the snake, and then the demigods followed. The leaders of the demons thought it unwise to hold the tail, the inauspicious portion of the snake. Instead, they wanted to hold the front, which had been taken by the personality of Godhead and the demigods, because that portion was auspicious and glorious. Thus, the demons, on the plea that they were highly advanced students of Vedic knowledge and were all famous for their birth and activities, protested that they wanted to hold the front of the snake. Purport. The demons thought that the front of the snake was auspicious and that catching hold of that portion would be more chivalrous. Moreover, Daityas must always do the opposite of the demigod. That is their nature. We have actually seen this in relations to our Krishna consciousness movement. We are advocating cow protection and encouraging people to drink more milk and eat palatable preparations made of milk. But the demons, just to protest such proposals, are claiming that they are advanced in scientific knowledge, as described here by the words Swadhyaya Shruta Sampana. They say that according to their scientific way, they have discovered that milk is dangerous and that the beef obtained by killing cows is very nutritious. This difference of opinion will always continue. Indeed, it has existed since days of yore, meaning since very ancient time. Millions of years ago, there was the same competition. The demons, as a result of their so called Vedic study, preferred to hold the side of the snake near the mouth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead thought it was wise to catch hold of the dangerous part of the snake and allow the demons to hold the tail, which was not dangerous. But because of a competition, but because of a competitive desire, the demons thought it was wise to hold the snake near the mouth. If the demigods were going to drink poison, the demons would resolve. The demons would resolve. Okay. Why should we not share the poison and die gloriously by drinking it? In regard to the words Swadhyaya Sutra Sampana Pakriyata Janma Karmabhi, another question may be raised. If one is actually educated in Vedic knowledge, is famous for performing prescribed activities, and has been born in a great aristocratic family, why should he be called a demon? The answer is that one may be highly educated and may have been born in an aristocratic family, but if he is godless, if he does not listen to the instructions of God, then he is a demon. There are many examples in history of men like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kamsa, who were well educated, who were born in aristocratic families, and who were very powerful and chivalrous in fighting, but who, because of deriding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, were called Rakshasas, or demons. One may be very well educated, but if he has no sense of Krishna consciousness, no obedience to the Supreme Lord, he is a demon. That is described by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.15. Namam duskritina mudha prapadyante naradama maya aprita jnana asuram bhavam asrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Asuram bhavam refers to not accepting the existence of God or the transcendental instructions of the personality of God. Bhagavad Gita clearly consists of transcendental instructions imparted directly by the Supreme Personality of God. But asuras, instead of accepting these instructions directly, make commentaries according to their own whimsical ways and mislead everyone without profit, even for themselves. One should therefore be very careful of demoniac, godless persons. According to the words of Lord Krishna, even if a godless demon is very well educated, he must be considered a Mudha, Naradama, and Maya Aprita Jnana. So, therefore, a Mudha means someone who's stupid. Naradama, someone who is educated but is not actually a devotee. And Maya Aprita Jnana, one who is full of many different principles of knowledge but confused. Okay, so I think we're going to stop right there. Okay, we'll just read one more. Thus the demons remarked silent. I'm sorry. Thus the demons remained silent, opposing the desire of the demigods. Seeing the demons and understanding their motive, the personality of God had smiled. Without discussion, he immediately accepted their proposal by grasping the tail of the snake, and the demigods followed him. Okay, we'll stop right there. Oh, where's the Srila Prabhupada? Are there any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Maharaj, I have a question. So, Garuda is an eternal carrier of Lord Vishnu, even in the Vaikuntha planets? And if so, are there like carnivorous beings in the spiritual world?
Carnivorous.
Yes, because it said in this
They,
when
they
we
eat
read.
they eat other living entities.
Yes, because Garuda eats snakes, right?
Yeah. I don't know. We can do some research and find out. I don't want to make a decision there because I don't know for sure. So now your question is, Garuda, he eats snakes, right? And but are there snakes in the spiritual world?
So the question is like, does Garuda eat snakes only in the material world, like during the Samudra Manthan, or even in the spiritual world?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I don't know if there are snakes in spiritual world, especially poisonous snakes. There might be snakes that are not poisonous in the spiritual world, but I don't know if there are poisonous snakes in the spiritual world. We'll leave that as an open question and research a little bit, find out what the answer is. Are there poisonous snakes in the spiritual world, right? Is that what we're looking at? Is that what we're trying to figure out?
We are trying to figure out, Maharaj, are there carnivorous beings in the spiritual world? Like,
Okay, carnivorous means they eat flesh.
yes.
I don't know. Maybe we won't know until we actually go to the spiritual world. Okay, well, we'll try and, well, why don't you try and do some research and see if there are carnivorous, uh, snakes or creatures in the spiritual world. I don't think so, but I don't want to say for sure. I don't know for sure. Okay? That's
Yes,
your
Guru Maharaj.
that's
Yes.
your homework.
Thank you.
That's your homework.
Did some
quick elephant in the room search
Yeah. About
about the topic.
carnivorous snakes?
Yeah, are there carnivorous animals in the spiritual world? For example, Garuda, will it eat snakes?
Okay.
Or will there be poisonous snakes? In the spiritual world, the logic of nature takes a different rhythm, almost like familiar melody played on otherworldly scale. Predation, fear, poison, and death, the ingredients of the material food chain, simply don't exist there.
Ah,
Everything, yeah, everything is such Chit Ananda, eternal, conscious, joyful. Even when something resembles a material pattern, its function is entirely different. So,
can you read that again? Even if?
even when something resembles a material pattern, its function is entirely different. Okay.
So, even if there are snakes, but they're not poisonous.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So first is no carnivores in the spiritual world. There is no violence, no killing, no prey predator dynamics in the Vaikuntha or Goloka. Even beings who look like material world animals, like lions, cows, serpents, eagles, are actually personal associates of the Lord, fully spiritual and blissful. They don't survive by eating others. They live by Krishna's companionship, affection, and transcendental energy, like characters in a divine play energized by the love rather than food. What about Garuda? Does he eat snakes in the spiritual world? In Vaikuntha, no. He does not kill or eat snakes. Garuda's identity as enemy of serpents is part of his material world Leela role.
What does he eat then?
He just is sustained by the love of the Lord. That's what it says. Especially connected to early history. In the spiritual world, Garuda is a pure devotee, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, always absorbed in service. His relationship with serpents is not one of hostility. There is no fear, karma, or injury in that realm. Next question. Are there snakes in the spiritual world and are they poisonous? Yes, there are serpentine forms in the Vaikuntha, but they're not poisonous, they're not dangerous, they are pure devotees. They don't bite or harm. Even Seshanaga, who appears as a colossal serpent, is not a poisonous being. He is the source of spiritual energy, bearing the universes effortlessly while externally serving the Lord. In Goloka, all beings, humans, animals, trees, birds, cows, and even rivers, are conscious, loving participants in Krishna Leela. A snake there is more like a friendly ribbon of consciousness that guides around with radiant awareness, not a threat.
Good. That means we can go to the spiritual world without any fear.
Yeah. Why no danger or death exists in the spiritual world? Because in the spiritual world has no time. There is no decay, no death. Everyone is eternal. No hunger in the material sense, no violence. Everyone serves Krishna. No dualities like fear or competition. The appearance of variety, like lions, snakes, peacocks, and exists only to enrich Krishna's play, not to reproduce earthly ecosystems.
Are there demons in the spiritual world?
Let's see, that's a good question. I think last time you mentioned that there's only ideas of demons.
Yeah, you said there are stories about demons, but
I
not
just
actually.
want to make sure. There's only like whispers of demons.
In the spiritual world, you won't find anything resembling the demon category. No malevolent beings, no tricksters feeding on fear,
Malevolent.
malev-
Yeah.
malevolent, um, no entities acting against the Lord's will. The entire realm is unanimously harmonious.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, no demons exist in the spiritual world.
We should go there.
No envy, no ego, no rebellion against God, no negativity, no anxiety, no competition, no fear. Yeah, the very psychology needed for demon simply cannot exist in the realm of
Good Lord.
because it's Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness.
So all the animals and snakes and everything.
Yeah,
also-
so the Lord can. Oh, interesting. The Lord can bring demons there as part of his Leela in spiritual form. So the only demoniac energy that appears in the spiritual world is a loving drama, not an actual threat. It's like a drama.
You see the snake, but it doesn't bite.
Yeah. So in Krishna's Goloka pastime, sometimes a demon-like personality appears during play, not as an enemy, but as a Leela expansion to increase the rasa.
Okay.
So it's similar to a child's imaginative monster in a game. So it's like theatrical, harmless, and delight creating. They're not real asuras. They're extensions of Lord's own energy, crafted for flavor but not fear. They cannot hurt anyone. They don't have free will to rebel. They dissolve the moment the pastime ends.
Good. Very good.
What about asuras who get liberated, like Putana, Kamsa, and so on? They do not remain demonic. They receive purified spiritual form appropriate for their rasa. So they don't carry their demon nature into Vaikuntha. That's left behind, just like a costume after a play.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Maharaj.
That's good. Okay, we'll stop
Okay.
right there.
Should all aim to get back there quickly.
Yeah, we'll stop at Canto 8, Chapter 7, text number, I guess, 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.